Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. We're so excited to welcome Miranda Kwok to our program today. You guys know her as the creator and executive producer of the hit show on Fox called TheCleaningLady. We're going to talk to her not only about the success of the show, but also what it's like for her to bring these characters to television and to be able to share this really amazing story that had us guessing to the very end. If you guys are not staying connected with the Cleaning Lady Miranda online, we'll let you know how to be able to do that. Miranda, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hi, Cyrus. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, look, you are having quite the 2022, Miranda, so we're excited to be able to speak with you. I want to kind of begin here. I mean, you had an amazing season with the Cleaning Lady. What has this response been like for you to see the way that people really took to this show and these characters?
Oh, honestly, it has been so rewarding and so heartwarming to see the response from the audience. We could only hope that we could affect people with this story. Obviously, there's a lot of fun to be had as well in this kind of thrilling crime drama and this Breaking Bad story that we're telling. But, there's a lot of topics that we cover that are just really significant right now in the conversation today. And the fact that it has been so well received has been so gratifying for us, for sure.
Miranda, when the season first started, we had Oliver Hudson on the program, and we were talking to him about what it was like for him to be a part of this role that can be so different for him. And he was just talking about two things. One, of course, the story that really drew him in, but also this cast. I mean, I'm sure you've been hearing that a lot. What was it like for you to have this perfect marriage of course, this great writing and storytelling, but also these actors that bring these characters to life?
Casting this show was both challenging and, again, very rewarding. And when this show was first picked up by Fox in early 2020, it was actually the first drama pickup that year, and they only picked up 4 shows. And they actually said to us at the time, we recognize that we will probably have to find 2 lesser-known actors to play the 2 sister-in-laws. And we are so excited to find new talent and put new voices on the screen. We just have to surround them with familiar faces. And so they took on the challenge as we presented it. The moment I pitched that it would be, Southeast Asian characters, they were excited by the prospect. And so it was, they recognized that this is something that would be breaking ground. This is new territory for a network, a network TV and a network audience. And so it was a challenge to find, just because there hasn't been a lot of roles for Asian women that are leading roles, especially in television in that space. And more so, there have not been any Southeast Asian lead characters on television. And so the network did take a risk with it, right? Because they're used to casting people like Oliver Hudson, like Aiden Canto, who have a large body of work that they can bank on. And so they were excited to jump in, and, it took a while to find our cast. We searched in LA, New York, Toronto, Vancouver, Australia, the UK, and did a really broad search. And when we found Elodie, we absolutely knew she was the one. Unfortunately, after a couple of months of pre-production, we shut down production because of COVID on the day we were supposed to roll cameras. But what was really great is that during that time, we actually cast Elodie, and Fox cast her and basically made a contract for her to hold her indefinitely when no one knew when we were going to, open up again and start filming. So that's how much they believed in the show and how much they believed in her.
Yeah. That is great. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I think that really does add another layer to this. I mean, I think for one, to recognize, for Fox to recognize the importance of this story. And I think, too, that's it, because as we look at it as entertainment, Miranda, it also is, full of powerful messages. One of the reviews I saw about The Cleaning Lady talked about they love the way it explored not only undocumented life, but also what mothers will do for their children. And I think, that is one of the really interesting dichotomies about this show is, yes, there's the action and there's that, but it's also the people factor, right? Talk to us about that for you, Miranda. How important was that for you to come out and come through with that? Yes, it was a story that was going to keep you glued to it because of the action and what was going to be taking place on that side. But there really was the human factor of this being a mother trying to take care of her family.
Oh, absolutely. That was of primary importance because this, to me, is a story of female empowerment. And, telling a story about a mother fighting for her son is one of the most universal themes that everyone can relate to. Every person who has somebody that they love, every parent who has a child, this is something that they can get behind, because every choice that she makes, even though it's not the best choice, even though she's not offered, a lot of resources, she is limited to the choices that she can make. She is always making them for the sake of her son and the best for her family. And I think getting people to understand that, no matter who you are or where you're from, whether you're undocumented, whether you're Asian or Black or Hispanic or whatever, this is a universal story that everyone is doing their best for their family. And so, that just shows that, as you said, the humanity of it is that we are all more the same than we are different. And so telling the story from a woman's point of view was extremely important. And also telling the story through the lens of a Southeast Asian character was also then to show the universality of that was also really important.
Such a great point, and I love that, too. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We have the pleasure today of speaking with Miranda Kwok today. We're talking with her not only about the show The Cleaning Lady, the success it's been able to have, but she's the creator and executive producer. So I have to ask you, as we broaden out the conversation a bit, Miranda, it's your first time on with us. I mean, it has to feel pretty good to have created this show and for it to right out of the gate to be such a hit. When you were crafting The Cleaning Lady, I mean, did you feel it? Did you feel that if this story was told, that people would gravitate toward it?
I didn't think about that in that way. I didn't think of how an audience would respond, to be honest with you. I mean, first, I had a blind script deal over at Warner Brothers. So first it's like, oh, crap, well, what do I do? And then, looking at different projects is trying to think, okay, like this is a story I can get behind. And then it becomes just a matter of, okay, well, how do I tell this story the best way I can? So, there's a lot of late nights plugging away. I was developing the show for 5 months with Warner Brothers while I was working full-time on The 100, that's on the CW network. And so it was a lot of evenings and weekends where I was literally working around the clock. And so when you're in it, you don't think of how an audience will respond. You're just in it. So I was just really trying to just tell the best story I could. And initially, I will say this as well. I thought that I would be pitching this to cable and streaming. Because that's where stories like this usually end up, and also where they would generally be better received. And Warner Brothers was one that suggested to pitch it to networks. And they said that there is a greater audience and appetite right now in broadcast television for more diverse stories and different voices and marginalized voices. So let's pitch networks first. And I thought, okay, well, I don't want to change the story much, but sure, I'll pitch it, and if anyone picks it up, fine. But, this is a story I want to tell. And they were totally on board with that. We pitched it to the 5 networks. Fox was the first, and they scooped it up right away. And, you know, the moment that I pitched that this would be a Southeast Asian character, Warner Brothers embraced that, Fox embraced that, and the fact that now audiences across the U.S. and the world have fully embraced that has been, again, just, you know, so overwhelmingly satisfying. Because what it does prove is that there is that audience for these voices, for both Asian American voices, for marginalized voices, and for stories that we haven't seen, that haven't, you know, oversaturated the market. But more, I think, as you said, this is a human story. And I think that's what affects people most of all, is that it's an underdog story. It is a story of people who are normally silenced or pushed in the shadows and told they're unworthy. And I think there's so many of us who have felt that in our lives. Again, no matter who you are or what background you have or what jobs, you know, crappy jobs you've had to do, we've all felt, you know, disregarded or, you know, insignificant. And I think that this show really speaks to that, again, very universal theme. And what it does is it allows you to sort of get into the hearts and minds of these characters and really get to know them and really care for them. And I think the most rewarding thing is that I think, putting a show like this on the air, you can only hope to affect people. And from the response of the show, it feels like we really have affected people and garnered more empathy and compassion from the audience. So that is, I think, the best thing that's happened. And, you know, it's not about creating a show or, you know, oh my God, I have a show on the air. That aspect of it, the fact that it has been received so well because of the story behind it, because of the messages that we put forward, that has been absolutely the best part of the experience.
Well, I love that. I love that perspective there, Miranda. I think it does help us. I think to also appreciate, I mean, it's one thing to be passionate about something rather than just feeling like, you know, you have to do X, Y, or Z. I love that the passion is what really has drove this. And, of course, being able to do something, again, that people appreciate has to be a great benefit there as well. Again, everyone, Miranda Kwok has been our guest today. She's the creator and executive producer of The Cleaning Lady, the hit show on Fox. An amazing show. Miranda, kudos to yourself and the team and the cast for being able to bring this to all of us. We definitely have been enjoying the ride and looking forward to what's to come. How can our audience kind of stay connected for the updates?
Oh, well, we're on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook as well. So we are definitely trying to communicate with our audience and connect with them. I posted a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes photos on Instagram. I was trying to do it on Twitter as well, but there was so much. So I hope that people will. There's some really wonderful fans on Twitter who have directed some of the audience and fans to my Instagram page. Just because there's a lot, and but I wanted to, it can be very time consuming. But I really wanted to take that time to share these photos because, again, like it's been such an incredible experience for me, and I wanted to share as much of that with the audience and our fans as possible.
Well, we appreciate you bringing us along on this journey, and we'll be doing the same thing and sharing it, Miranda. And it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
Oh, thank you. It's great talking to you. You've obviously done your homework, and your questions are very thoughtful, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, the pleasure's definitely all mine. We appreciate that, and we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.